Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Marvel Club podcast, Rebooted. I just wanted to throw this quick intro in here to give a brief rundown of how this episode you're about to watch, as well as just the rest of the series going forward, is going to go. First off, what you're about to watch is the review that we did for Marvel's Antman Quantumania. The way that we did it, although kind of led to us releasing it now, almost 3 weeks later, I think was worth it because it really let us capture our most authentic perspective of what we thought of the movie. We're kind of calling the way we do reviews here 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week reviews. So see the movie, walk outside minutes later, and give our first initial thoughts. Right? We set the phone up and just right outside the theater gave exactly what we thought right off the bat, and that kind of gave way to some audio issues that you'll see. Then about a day later, we all got together again and shot one more, much longer, about an hour-long idea. Now that after sitting on it for a day, kind of giving our full thoughts. Then finally, 1 week later, we give our final thoughts, stuff that that really sat with us for a while, stuff we couldn't let go of, to just give our full, unabashed opinion from different points. Now, of course, it is the first Marvel podcast for this reboot, so there are going to be a few things that aren't as pretty as I'm hoping it will be in the future. So, if maybe, per se, for example, maybe the video cuts out 20 minutes into the second part, and it just cuts to a still frame that Mark did a lot of editing for to make it look really good regardless. That's just an example, not saying that definitely happened. I think the content is more than worth it. Going forward, we're going to be having just a lot of really, really exciting stuff. Just to give a sneak peek, we'll be having deep dives into stuff that is coming in the MCU that people aren't really familiar with if they've only seen the movies. We're going to have a few psych majors come in and psychoanalyze the most crazy comic characters. There might be a game show at one point. Just a lot of really fun stuff that I'm really looking forward to doing. So I hope you're able to stick with us. I hope this is something that excites you as much as it excites me, because this is going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, episode 1. So, Marvel Club history. This is not the first podcast, but it's the first one of the semester and the first one to come back.
It's the new reboot.
Yeah!
Oh
Marvel Club podcast rebooted. Let's run down the line, just get names first before we do anything else.
Okay.
Start with you.
I'll start. Hi, I'm Mark.
Okay,
cool. Yeah,
all right,
cool. Yeah, all right, yeah. Hi, I'm Jake from State Farm. Should I name my position too?
I was gonna say.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the president. We'll see how much longer that lasts.
Hello, I'm Josh Weiss. I am the social media manager. Nice to meet you.
I'm Kai.
And I'm Trevor, the podcast chair. You'll be seeing more of me and Mark as we go on. But yeah, we're just doing this as a quick quick first impressions. We'll be talking a lot more in depth later, so don't go into everything you thought about the movie. But let's just kind of get an idea of favorite and least favorite thing that could happen.
How dirty can we be?
Go for it. I mean, ask Jake.
Can I
edit
pose
it
a question?
Go for it.
How big do we think MODOK's penis is?
Okay, so
let's
what was your favorite and least favorite thing about it? Yes.
I really liked that we got to see Kang, because we got to see He Who Remains and Loki, but this was not him at all, and that was really cool because that's kind of what you're supposed to get with Kang is oh, this is just a different guy, it's a completely different person. Also this, I thought it was like a little cringe that like the mother, I forget her name, I'm so sorry, Janet, was just like didn't tell anyone about it, because it's like I get like I think they did a pretty good job of being like, yeah, no, she doesn't want to talk about it, and like here's why. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if you got Hitler down in there, you gotta tell us.
Yeah,
You gotta tell us.
I heard someone say that since Endgame, the biggest thing Marvel's been doing has been retcons, and I feel like this definitely falls under that. Like I can't remember what Janet's role was in Ant-Man 2, but like this is definitely just, they had no idea this was going to be happening until they started writing this movie, and then all of a sudden she's the super political one who is concealing all this like secret stuff about what happened down there. She never, like, this was not her character until this movie. Yeah.
I think my favorite thing was like, a lot of people like don't like this when this happens in movies, but I like the fact that it started kind of like in the middle, right? And I think it is like, I would say almost like reflective of like the whole universe, multiverse thing, because like they're in the middle of all of it, not really understanding what the fuck is happening, and then as the movie went on, like as I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is directly related to like the Loki show, or like something that happened like 2 movies after. And then like when Kang was talking about like, you know, I need to like leave, otherwise bad shit is gonna happen. I was like, oh my god, that's the bad shit that's gonna happen, because it was relative to the Loki show.
Yeah.
My least favorite thing is also Josh. I was like, okay,
Josh is your least favorite.
I'm so sorry.
I promise.
You shouldn't have been there.
Like the fact that, like, I understand, you know, big trauma, right? Down there for 30 years. Didn't think you were ever gonna see your family again, blah blah, all that stuff like that. But if they had Hitler down there, I feel like I would want to know. Like, I literally turned to Anna and I was like, bro, this is the same as like, oh, I'm keeping the secret because I'm protecting you. But there's literally a fucking genocidal maniac down there, and you said nothing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. How about you, Jacob?
Me? Okay, sure. Yeah, so something I didn't like, I know Cinemas is gonna have a field day with this one, the pronoun game. Is that driving you guys nuts too?
I fully agree with that.
He's coming. It's like, gee, I wonder who he could be. I wonder if he was in all of the trailers. And God.
And
I
also,
I made a joke like, are we fucking like, is this God from the Bible? What's happening?
He thinks he's God.
I appreciate that you had to like say who God is, what God is from. Like,
Well,
it
like
could have been God.
it's
from
like,
anything
oh,
else.
it's the devil from the Bible.
It's really cute that you're gonna defeat me with the power of friendship and all, but again, I am the devil from the Bible, so I don't know how well it's gonna work.
You know, so that was driving me nuts. And then also, Micro Hitler. Yeah, that was also kind of, yeah, itty bitty Hitler, big problems. Little Hitler, big problems. Yeah, exactly. And
It's got scrapped for Minecraft.
Oh God.
Sorry. Cut that.
things I liked. Well, of course, there was the holes joke. That just made the entire movie for me personally.
I don't agree. That was great.
Yeah, and then I had something in my head. I could just the whole like final 20 minutes. That was just great. It was fantastic. And I don't know if anyone else picked up on this. I think they might have made a Star Wars reference when because he said I forget the line is now. When MODOK's like dying. And he's just like.
He's like,
still
didn't die
good
in
in me.
Avengers?
No, he's like, they're still good in me. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like something that like Darth Vader said.
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
Yeah, and I was like, is he making a Star Wars joke?
Don't worry about.
Up like us.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
in a way that like I feel like Marvel hasn't done before. Like their deaths are very clean, so that was a very gross prolonged.
He was just like generally nasty.
Yeah.
Just a nasty.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Electric from Shark Boy and Lava.
Yeah,
Girl.
no.
You really
And I know
was.
I'm not the only one that was saying that.
Yes, that's definitely like, you know how after every Marvel movie there's like the spoilers out of context. That's Mr. Electric.
I was thinking of so many.
I actually thought
Seven
of
is one of them.
For me, I actually thought of the same. I thought of Shark Boy Lava Girl, but I thought of the scene where Linus gets his head blown up into like a balloon, and he's like, I thought about that the whole time.
Yeah. And Mark, how about you?
Okay.
I really liked the effects, just the environment, the design. It felt a lot like a sci-fi movie that I was watching.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I won't go into it that much, but I
We
really,
got the same thing. I know.
yeah. There was a few like as the scenes when they were like shrinking or jumping around that was like a little choppy, but I think overall, I think like the character design and the set design and everything was just great.
Absolutely.
I don't like how they just didn't explain why everyone was down there.
Yeah.
It just felt weird.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like it was just like because it was like, oh yeah, Janet crashed, and then Kang crashed, and I was like, okay, but how did everyone else crash?
Yeah. Or even if they were there and like they were born there.
Yeah.
How did a few humans get there, but they're not? It's not like if a human crashed and like Bill Murray's like it was born there. Like there's so few humans there. They must have been like started populating relatively recently.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Is like, is Kang responsible for that? Did
Yeah.
he like, because he was like, yeah, no, I use this to make
It's
my
a
own.
it's a cage.
Like, it's the kind of thing of like, oh yeah, no, I use this whole place to conquer and like make my own thing. And it's like, well, he needs. If you want to be a conqueror, you can't conquer if no one's there. You're just a guy who just shows up.
So you think he did that just to like inflate his own ego? Just
I mean, maybe, but I also think it is just possible that like just where they landed was nothing, and then there were because it's a huge like we saw all different types of ecosystems. So I feel like
I think it was like I'm a human if you want to call me that, but I am one of you.
he said in the ways that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
That
Bill
was cool.
Murray
That was such a
detour.
fucking weird.
First of all, I love how horny he was.
Yeah.
That was like
I thought
Yeah.
he died in a very appropriate way.
Did he die?
He got eaten by the squid guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Cause I'm kind of like, obviously, they don't try to do that kind of shit. Even though Multiverse of Madness was gory, I was really hoping that, like, when they cut away, you just hear a.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that a digitized Wilhelm scream would be used.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was-
I heard someone scream, but it wasn't a Wilhelm.
Wasn't.
Yeah.
Love to hear this.
I guess I'll wrap this up with my last two, and then we'll go down the line of like number scores.
Yeah.
Because this is an internet show, and you need those for some reason. I'd say definitely my favorite thing was the just world. Like I feel like the quantum realm was a character in and of itself. Like this is so unlike anything we've seen in Marvel before. They just had like I would have loved to have been in that room of like the designers just like creating all the different crazy like this has been the biggest influx of new like never before heard of characters in any Marvel movie. It was just so cool seeing like just something unlike anything else we'd see.
I feel like it outdid Star Wars in terms of
You know what?
Yes.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Thor Ragnarok. With Thor Ragnarok, they're just like, yeah, this guy, he's fucking Korg, he's made of
Yes.
rocks. That's meek. Cool.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's really just like doing shit like that where it's like, we're just gonna tell you what you need to know. And I think they did a good job of being like, yeah, like what you said, the whole place is alive. And I thought it was cool of like the fucking buildings. Like when they were like, your buildings are dead, I was like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
like that's crazy that like you
Yeah.
just have like everything's alive. It felt very alive.
It was so just imaginative.
It's
I
better
think
than pizzas that are spheres.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I really think that this movie kind of encapsulates what Marvel does that Star Wars still hasn't caught on to yet, which is like going beyond the one thing that it started off of. Like Star Wars is just Skywalkers, and they always, no matter what, everything keeps coming back to that. Whereas Marvel, Ragnarok, go on to different planets, Quantumania to the quantum, like it's so cool. And so least favorite, probably just how long it took for Kang to show up. Like this is kind of like your like
it's kinda like
him thing. The pronoun game is kind of a smaller version of this. Like
Yeah,
it's just so like okay, we're doing so much. We really spent so little time on Earth, which I kind of can appreciate if they did more like included more in it because I feel like you need to. I don't know. It wasn't that big a deal, but then just so long, like the entire first act, just no Kang. It's just him.
It's like after a half hour, you're like,
yeah.
Like the first time they said him, I'm like, ooh, I know who that is. And then they
Yeah.
said him for the 18th time. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
Just
Kang.
okay.
okay.
All right. Number ratings.
I say 8.
Okay.
7.5.
I give it 7 Kangs out of 10. Numbers.
I appreciate the units.
I think I'm also gonna give it about.
Okay, wow. I'd say as of right now, like 6.5,
Okay.
bordering on 7.
Okay. So that was 7, average.
Yeah.
Perfectly passable.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a Marvel
Like,
movie to me.
nothing insane, but it did a lot of good.
Yeah, for sure.
Meme. Approved.
And one last thought before we cut it. Hank is based as fuck.
Dude,
So true.
Hank,
I was like,
best-
Comrade Hank?
Yes!
Whoa!
autistic representation. What is he like? Ants.
Ants. Yes.
That's it.
All right.
So last time we left off, we were talking about how based Hank is.
So based.
Any last thoughts on that before we continue into the long form day later review?
Remember, kids, you don't need to be great. You just need to have a lot of ants.
And socialism.
And socialism.
You know,
All right.
You guys might not be ready for that one.
So it's been solid most of a day. Are there any like immediate thoughts people feel like were really like stuck out to you that you didn't really have last night?
There was the one that I said that is now in the notes, so I'm not going to say it.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I miss Louise.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did him so dirty.
We can start with Louise.
Who-
Yeah.
who
So. Exactly.
Okay, so basically, way back when we were in jail.
Oh shit! No,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Well, you know, the other guy. What's his name? The like.
The Russian or
yeah,
like
he
yeah,
voices the blob.
does
He
he?
does?
Yeah, he voices the goo man.
So they gave it a role to him, but not Michael Pena.
I mean, it's possible he didn't want to come on. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
No
don't know
way.
anything.
No way.
But it maybe is like it's kind of like he just didn't fit in the story. Because I mean, how do you fit in like
No, I
two
agree.
normal fucking
I
guys in
agree.
it?
No,
Because it's
yeah.
already like it's. I was watching the movie and I was like, how's this two like okay, two old people are in this movie, but like one of them has been here.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is just like an old guy who's just like, and he doesn't have his aunts, and so I'm like, this dude's like, fuck, this guy's gonna die. And you know, he got his shit rocked, but then the ants showed up.
Yeah.
But like two dudes who don't even have ants, it's like, what are they gonna do besides get fucking marked?
Yeah, because I've always wondered, what is the point of Scott if the Wasp has wings and blasters? Like, what is... I don't get the concept for... I mean, you know, I'm sure, I guess Scott has more ants, but like, that's something I've kind of always wondered. I don't give enough thought to Ant-Man. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the Ant-Man movies, so I feel like that is something that has kind of been in the background of every person who's written for an Ant-Man movie. Just like, how do I make the main character better than the person who is just him but better? Like, I don't know. I've always questioned that.
Yeah, I feel like the scene where they're at the core and there's a whole bunch of Ant-Men and they're like trying to make a tower. I feel like that really made that clear because it's just like, man, if he had a jetpack, he'd be set right now.
Yeah.
If Bro could duplicate, that'd be great. She's flying.
Yeah, she's
right
fine.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
Like a ladder.
let's talk about that scene. So, more vague, best action scene.
I have one thing that comes to mind.
Mhm.
I don't even know if it's necessarily like my favorite action scene,
Mhm.
but I personally I actually really like how Ant-Man in this movie is especially going into like the father stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first two movies build that really well. Because it's this whole thing is like, oh, every single time he's trying to do good now, he keeps getting fucking rolled because some stupid Ant-Man reason is preventing him from having time with his daughter.
Mhm.
And when Cassie's been captured and you just see like the silhouette in the red fog, and then just giant man comes out and he's
Yeah.
just pissed, like he's angry. I thought that was sick.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
that
cool
was
shot.
good.
Yeah,
because he just bursts out.
Yeah, and that really is like the most like Ant-Man has always been like the comedic relief main character
Mhm.
of the whole MCU. So to see him finally just take one thing incredibly seriously and something that's like that is the heart of the movie. Like his daughter and the relationship with her is so cute. Like I love that so much.
Yeah.
So that definitely made the end scene. Like you guys mentioned, like the last 20 minutes were so fucking cool
Yeah.
yesterday. That was really cool. I will say, I think in terms of action scenes, though, the probability storm is still, I think that really topped it for me. But it also really disappointed me because the whole time I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this place is weird and it's cool and it's something that, like I said last night, Marvel just doesn't do enough of, and I'm glad to see them going into it. But I feel like it just kind of stops there. It's called the Quantum Realm. It should do more quantum weird stuff that we just so beyond our science, like our realm. I feel like they should have delved into that. And then the possibility storm scene happened, and I was like, yes, more of this. And then it just kind of stopped. Like it was 3 minutes maybe of like they're like going into different possibilities. I feel like they could have done stuff with like in quantum science. I'm a film major. I'm not like that kind of stuff. But I know in quantum science, you get so much more interesting stuff when it comes to action scenes. And they did that, and then they just stopped. And
he played Outer Wilds.
I sure did. And to top it all off, at the end, it's just kind of like he throws the one enlarging thing at it, and it didn't work. And then his girlfriend came down, and then they threw a bunch, and it worked. Why? Because the power of girlfriend. Like, I don't...
The power of extreme friendship.
Yes. So true, Basti. Like, I wanted so much... Like, that is one of the things I feel like Marvel and Disney have this... It's the most money in the world. Like, this, no one has more money than them. And they can throw all this stuff at it, and... You're just kind of like, almost. They're so close, and then they're not. I don't know. But let's go back to that last scene where with just everything against Kang, where it almost feels like everything's going to lose, and then they come in with the ants, and they kind of kill Kang, but turns out he didn't. What thoughts?
I mean, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh god, oh fuck, is Kang gonna win? No, please. Then the ants came in, and I'm like, oh... The ants, because I was kind of waiting for them to come back, because I did notice in the beginning of the movie they kind of like shrunk into the quantum realm, and then they were just gone. Like, okay, that's Chekhov's gone. Mm-hmm. Surely, surely. Then they came back. I'm like, there they are.
And,
okay.
like when he had that like weird thing where that like Hank referenced later how picking up on like the frequencies. I was like, where are the fucking ants? Because clearly he can hear them.
Yeah, and like one of them,
there
was one character who asked like, "Oh, are there ants here?" And they're like, "Probably not." And then I was like, "Fucking,
they're
bring the ants! Ant-Man!
Ant-Man! Ants! Ant-Man. Yeah, I was glad to see them come back because I didn't. Again, when was the last time any of you saw any of the Ant-Man movies?
I would say like maybe like within a year.
Bro, like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, you saw the first one, right? Okay.
I've seen most of it.
Oh,
you know, I saw the second one in theaters when it came out. Yeah. I think that was the last time I saw it. I do have a good connection with Ant-Man because I remember it took me the entirety of Ant-Man to beat one Super Meat Boy level. So like that movie is like plays in my head like whenever I'm trying to play a video game sometimes.
The most significant thing to you about Ant-Man is using it as a unit of measurement.
Is doing something else.
Yes.
Because my brother must have watched it like 20 times.
Oh, okay.
You know, because he was I want to say he was like 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. So he just kept watching it, and I'm like, yeah, buddy. I mean, that doesn't even come close to the amount of times you watched Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I'm talking at least 50.
I've seen that movie like maybe 6 times.
No, he's seen that at least 50 in a row.
Because we had
and Zuba.
Now go.
Gary!
Let's see, what else? Best character, favorite character. Let's start with Kai and go down.
I have to go with Kang. I really do. I like villains a lot because they're so complexly written, right? And like I love the heroes and all that, but there's something about a villain who is just a hater for real. Like there's always the ones that are like, oh, they're not exactly villains. They're more like villains by perspective, right?
You're like Killmongers or
like
something.
I don't really like Killmonger, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay. He's way out of my scope. Or like how Loki is like a villain, but like also mind control and all these other stuff. Like his character is much more complex than just being kind of an asshole, right? I like those kinds of villains, but then I also really like the ones that are just like fucking haters for absolutely no reason, right? Like they're just committed to their cause so strongly. and they're willing to die for it so easily. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's a hater,
it's like
and I'm
Reverse
okay with
Flash
that.
kind of, just like a pure hater.
Yeah. I actually saw someone say that like Disney is no longer letting, like, in the contracts with the writers, they're not allowed to write villains who don't have like emotional depth, which is really cool. But if they had that in the 70s, then we would have never gotten like Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader is the villain, and he gets depth later, but only because they built on it. It's not just like a good guy, but also he kills people. And I feel like we've seen almost too much of that. So to see Kang, not just to see a villain like that, but to see the villain for the next many years as this really in-depth, like, terrifying.
Because it's like I mean, we've seen a lot of Kangs by now. But
2 movies in, we've already seen a bunch.
Just comparing like the 2 Kangs we've been given, really, which is Kang the Conqueror and He Who Remains. Looking at both of them, it's like they're both like those 2 so far. They're doing almost the same kind of thing, but they're doing it very different ways, and they both have very different personalities, which is crazy because it's like 2 people who are exactly the same actor. It's a villain who, even though their goals are the same, they manage to pull off a completely different story, a completely different vibe, completely different like means to get there. Because it's a thing of like, you know, when it's like, not to shit on like Joker or anything, but it's like, oh, Joker's gonna do a goofy little gas balloon, or he's gonna fucking like, you know, blow up a building because it's fun for him. But it's like Kang's going like that's who the Joker is, but that's like sort of always what the Joker is. But it's Kang. It's like, who fucking knows what this dude's gonna do? Because he's just gonna fucking like wipe out a reality because he just kind of feels like it. But then that one's like, oh no, we're gonna wipe out all of them because then that's like we're safe. And then the other ones are like, we're gonna fucking get together and we're gonna beat your asses because you're coming for us. It's like, all of them are like doing their own agendas, and I think that's a cool way to do a villain when it's an amalgam of different villains.
Yeah, and that is interesting that you bring that up, because you mentioned yesterday that you feel like they are 2 very different versions. And watching the movie, my biggest problem with them was that it just felt like you have the character of Kang is so open to so many different variations, and I was a little upset that they just did same exact thing. He just wants to be the one person who takes over the multiverse for the sake of everyone, but really just for his own, to be able to be in charge of everything. But I think I'm starting to see where you're coming from.
I did think that originally, but as I thought about it, I was like, no, this Kang is just kind of like this Kang isn't very lawful in a more personal sense, because like what we saw, like I believe when he, like in the early stages of him, when he met Janet, thank you.
It's the second time you forgot her name.
Sorry.
It's more like the 8th.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I just keep thinking Hope, and then I'm like Hope, and then I don't care.
Yeah.
But when he met her and they did their whole thing, he was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to fulfill the promise I made you. But then he makes a deal with Scott, and I was like, oh, he's actually just fully breaking the deal he made. Like, that's a growth of a character, like regression. And so it made me think like, oh, this guy, he says he's doing for the greater good, but it's really not. Whereas He Who Remains, he's kind of doing it for the greater good. It's very fucked up, but we see literally what he's doing and how it's having a good effect. And by the end of it, he's like, no, I'm fucking tired. I'm done. But this Kang is not that guy.
Yeah.
He's not tired.
Yeah.
He's not
Kang
gonna
without
be done.
He Who Remains without experience.
Exactly.
I think the difference between them is that He Who Remains actually won, right?
Yeah.
So Kang is still in that whole thing of like, I'm really fucking stressed because I'm not getting what I want. And so he's so much more of a bitchy guy, right? And He Who Remains is like, you know, I'm just chilling in my fucking chair, doing whatever the fuck I want because I won. And so he's definitely more, I don't want to necessarily say a mature person,
but he's able to have fun with it more.
Yeah.
Whereas this one takes it more seriously.
Kang in this movie is like a child having a temper tantrum. And he hasn't, like, the whole time I was sitting next to him, I was like, bro, this man just needs to go to fucking therapy. Like, that is the entire thing. He just needs to go to therapy and like figure his shit out.
And I think he takes it more seriously because he keeps losing.
Yeah.
Like he keeps getting fucking dunked on. And then you have, like we just talked about, you have He Remains, who won. He did it. He got what he wanted. He succeeded. But then he just got so tired of it. And he like
he fucking saw 2 Lokis fucking whining and complaining about it, and he was like, okay, fuck it, you do it, your turn, I'm out, I'm done, because he was more just like tired and fed up.
Yeah.
Whereas this king was just angry.
Yeah. Kang thoughts?
Okay, that
For either of you?
he was jacked.
Oh my god, dude, can you talk about the biceps?
Oh my
We
God.
were
Oh my
talking
God.
about this the fucking
Oh my God.
biceps on this guy. Holy shit, man. After he got gnawed by ants, he comes back, he's sleeveless, and holy shit. That close up.
You know, that entire fight scene at the very end, I love that.
Yes.
So and the whole time me and Tucker were sitting next to like, don't fucking kill Ant-Man. I swear to fucking God if you kill Ant-Man. And we're like sitting there like, please. And we're also like, why aren't they closing the portal? Why isn't someone coming through the portal? It's been like 5 seconds. Guys, I know you watch movies in this movie universe. You should know what's happening right now.
Yes.
But that was, but like the fight scene itself, I was kind of expecting Scott to say something stupid like, I could do this all day. Because that would have been so in character.
That would have been funny, but it would have kind of ruined it.
No, it absolutely would have, but it would be something Scott would have said.
Scott
That would have been
ruin the moment.
Yeah, he would have been.
Like,
he
he
would have been like, why would
fuck
you
it up
say
or
that?
something.
Because let's take a second and go back to, we haven't talked about this here, fucking MODOK.
Yes!
That was gonna be my favorite character.
Ready? At least I died in Avengers. It's like fucking.
Oh my god.
That was like, he was so good in this movie.
Yes.
I don't care if people hate him.
Yes.
Because CGI bad. I thought it was even good.
That's
It
what
was so
yes.
fucking funny.
It really was. I feel like I saw a lot of people. I don't know. I've just never been like it needs to be a better adaptation than a better story kind of person. Like, I don't care that this is. We're gonna get real MODOK eventually. We're gonna see whatever. They killed him off so that we could get the real one. I'm just happy to see someone like, I didn't like Darren Cross in the first movie. He is now the best character.
They made him
Richie
better.
Lex Luthor pissed me off.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, but now it's like, yeah, that's funny, like in a good way.
And
Like,
when they go down to the quantum storm and he's like, Darren, he does that for like 30 seconds. He's like, oh, MODOK, and he's like,
Right,
yeah,
what's
what?
up?
It's like because the one thing I like about MODOK, and you talk more because he's your favorite.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah.
Because I was gonna say,
There's a
just
couple
like,
good ones.
I don't know a whole lot about MODOK, like, but I know he's fucking insane, and they made it very apparent in this movie. This guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's delusional. He thinks he's some like godlike being, but then Kang puts him in his place.
Yeah.
But like he's so fucking out there, and it's like, and
Yes.
he's so pathetic
yes.
too.
One of my favorite tropes in anything ever is seeing a bad guy who you think is really cool, but then later you realize he's really pathetic and serves a greater being who's like, oh god, I don't even want to touch him. Like, that is so good, and they did that really well in this. I
Yeah.
think they could have even dug like deeper into that, because I think we only saw that once or twice. Kang like,
Yeah, like
belittling
I
him.
think it was kind of like we saw that, and then Cassie tried talking to him, but he was just too much of like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Mhm.
That we didn't get to like see that,
Mhm.
because I was kind of waiting for that, like, are you really gonna let like someone else tell you what to do kind of moment?
Yeah, for sure. One more thing with Kang, and then we can go to your favorite character. So they did a great job giving him powers for someone who doesn't really have like an established set of powers. I wish they didn't, like, he was like mowing down guys left and right with his one weird laser on his wrist that like like it hits you and then you just disappear.
It erases them.
Yes,
Yeah, no, that
exactly.
Funky.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Why that never was established why he didn't just use it on Scott.
Well, so
I don't.
Scott.
What?
He needed Scott.
Well, not at the end.
No,
when
not
he was
the
just
end.
like at the very end, it's like, okay, the thing is open, the portal is open, or even before that, before the ants come in, he didn't really need Scott anymore. I mean, he could have or could have used it on Janet or Hope or whoever. I feel like there was no real reason that they didn't.
when they were fighting them, the way, because like he tried to a few times, and they kept like shrinking and dodging those. And then they would just retaliate with an attack because he's using like a range attack. So for me, it was just like, oh, he's just kind of like missing, and he just knows he has a better chance at close combat. And then once, like, the next thing that happens is the ants get him, and then after that, they specifically showed his arm pieces are
I did see
malfunctioned
that,
and broken.
yes.
So I think they deliberately did that so that they could do the hand-to-hand combat part, because it's like, oh yeah, after that they're broken, he can't just fucking get them.
Yeah.
But that's a
Yes.
reasonable thing.
Especially, I guess I just have more of a problem with like that is just a gun. Like that's not like a slow moving projectile. That is a gun. You can't react to a gunshot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just dumb. Like, okay, I can respect the fact that they shrink down to molecular size, but when they don't use the gun I like, that's where I have a problem. I don't know. It's just dumb shit like that. I don't really care. He was really cool as fuck. Especially the fact that they learned. I think they really learned from Ultron with him. Like, Ultron was supposed to be this really just nothing but fucking terrifying. And then they just kind of gave him the old quips. And that has more to do with Joss
He's like,
Whedon
I'm
directing.
Pinocchio.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like, what's going
Whereas
on?
Kang didn't have that. Like, he was jokey kind of as the one who remains. But this one, like you said, like, he's just like, he's fed up. He's not joking anymore,
And-
which I respect that they
And
held back.
He Who Remains joking was creepy and scary.
Mhm.
Because it was like, why is this guy so chill?
Yeah.
He's like, guys, just kill me. Come on, let's do this.
That whole last episode
He was almost like a
amazing.
little mad.
Yes.
Her nonchalance is terrifying me in such an uncomfortable way. And then Kang is like,
That needs an apple.
you're just.
Yes, I
And-
love
and-
it, a villain who
And
needs
He
an
Who
apple.
Remains was also invincible, essentially.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they
Because
like
he
they
wouldn't
tried
happen.
to kill him, and he's like, "No, I literally know you're going to do that, so I just made
Yeah.
it so you
And
can't."
then at the end, he's like, well, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, I'm eating popcorn. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once it
come
goes,
at me.
once it's over, he's like, "Okay, cool, I can die now."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was smiling till the
Yes,
end.
Yeah,
yes.
he's like-
He had a smile on his face as he died, showing God that last moment of "see you soon."
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was...
because she was like, "Any last words?" He's like,
No, I'm good.
Dude, they weren't written for me.
Yeah, because it really is this selfishness. Like, I've done this. Either I'm going to die or I'm going to retire. Either way, I'm done. I get the sweet release of death, and that makes me so happy. You guys, you two get to choose what happens for the rest of humanity, the rest of all living beings. It's not on me anymore. That's so good. All right, favorite character.
"It's so hard."
That's what she said.
I do want to say MODOK, but in part me actually, like, I genuinely think this is one of my favorite Ant-Mans. Like times where I'm like, oh, I like Scott Lang. I think I gotta give it up to the guy, I don't remember his name, but he was the guy with the laser head.
Yeah.
Oh, he's called Humanoid.
Oh, is he?
Humanoid.
Okay. There you go.
He liked one thing, and that was torture. And
Yes.
then everyone was like, dude, we gotta not do that. And he's like, no, but what if we tortured
Yeah, but hear me out. What if?
But he was fucking sick, and it's I mostly just like want to bring him up because I want to talk about. I felt like even though I think they could have done more with like the side characters and they could have like gone more into it, I think they did a really good job of like Marvel introducing a bunch of like random NPCs and then being like these are still like important and fun and like characters that you can like, because we got Goo Guy, we got Quaz, we got fucking Mommy. We got like so many we got like when I saw the houses were like animate and they were like in the fight and they like the house holding the other house in its arms, I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I emotional right now? So I think like generally I was just really happy with the amount of quality we got with the other characters.
I definitely wanted to touch on the side characters just because, yeah, like I feel like they were kind of we keep coming back to Ragnarok as like the kind of parallel to this movie. I think they wanted another Kang and Meek. Korg and Meek. I think the only reason this doesn't feel as like stand out as Korg is because they were all Meeks except for Mommy. Do we know her name?
I
don't
do know her name. I just can't remember.
We'll call her Mommy. She was probably the worst character in the movie. Like, one character who unrelentlessly will just take everything seriously. I feel like grinds the pace to a halt in a comedy movie. Like, there was nothing they did with her that was interesting, except just like, and now here's the person who kind of got to bring the plot along, so she's going to take it seriously. It's like, oh, okay.
It is kind of like, it's like, man, why are you being a bummer right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Like, I get, like, okay, your whole home was destroyed.
Mhm.
Sure, I understand why you're mad. But, like, that dude is made of goo. That dude doesn't have a head. He shoots lasers. He can read your mind, and he knows when you're thinking about penises. So it's like, that's Quaz. That's
okay.
that's what I was talking about.
I didn't want to be the one to ask.
No, yesterday
Yeah,
after we wrapped the last one, I was like, oh my god, they fucking named him Quaz because I love William Jackson Harper, And I was so, like, I thought he did a good job in this movie because I thought he did great. But at the same time, I'm like, did they really use him for a fucking telepath who did the bit of, like, please stop thinking about, like, your holes right now, man?
Mhm.
Which was funny. It was a
That
good
was a
bit.
good
But I was just like,
And
really?
being introduced, he has 7 holes. That was really good.
I love that bit because he goes, he has 7 holes, and then he's like you see him, and all of the men in the entire audience started thinking
Yeah.
about it,
And
and
they
then
were
that's
right.
when the bit happens
Uh-huh.
of him being like, stop thinking about that, because he's thinking about, he's counting them in his head.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. I love William Jackson Harper. He was my main pick for Mr. Fantastic. But oh well, I'm sure the cast. If there's one thing Marvel consistently gets right, it's casting. I expect them to do well. I mean, I am really upset at myself that I don't have the main casting director for the MCU on hand, because God, she's so fucking good. Like, God. So whatever. But
Yeah, Mark will edit that in.
Is there any advice you have for anyone who would love to be in a Marvel film? Me, but anyone else but me.
Be yourself. Work hard. Be yourself fully. Don't try to be like anyone else. Be true to yourself and shine your own light. That is the best thing to do. And work very hard. Be as good as you can be. Bring your best self every day.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Again, say goodbye to all your Marvel fans out there.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I'm on a sugar crash. I ain't gonna fucking cash. Maybe I should take a bath. Come on, fucking.
I guess I'll go to my best character now. I'll be boring and go skip MODOK and Kang and just say I think either Cassie or Hank. Like Cassie fucking served in this movie. She was so good. Just seeing an intelligent woman is like, God, just give me more of that, please. That was like, I just loved seeing that. Especially just again her being the emotional heart, her and her dad's relationship being the emotional heart of the movie was so like. Yeah, that is what I want more of in these movies.
I thought they also did a good job of like, because when she was in the movie, I was a little hesitant of like, oh, I know she's gonna be down there. How novice is she gonna be as like an Ant-Man?
Mm-hmm.
And she was bad. Like she fucking sucked.
Yeah.
No offense, Cassie. But like, I like that we got to see like they did the what was it, like jump and tap.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like she needs to fucking learn, and like she's like we get a good amount of context because Hank talks about like, oh yeah, she has a suit, and then he's like, you have a suit, because it's like there's clearly some training, if not her just kind of using it on her own. Mm-hmm. Ahead of like, or in the past that's been pre-established to make it not totally out of the picture, but at the same time it's like, oh no, she's not good at this, she's not anywhere near Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah.
And I think they did that really well.
Yeah. Having that mini arc of the jump and tap, but as a larger whole of just her learning to become Ant-Man. Because now they didn't do it in the title like I hoped, but they are now introducing a new Ant-Man with every movie.
Do we know what her hero name
yes,
is? Is it going to be Stature?
No, is that?
That's what Tucker was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she had 2 names. I can look it up.
Yeah, I know there's 2 of them.
Stinger, that's what I was going to say.
That makes
Stinger.
more sense.
Yes.
I like Stature more.
And in the comics, she starts as Stature and then becomes Stinger when she leaves, I think, the Young Avengers, some group. Now I guess she's doing it backwards, because they're just introducing more and more Young Avengers, and eventually that's going to become a thing. Hopefully. They haven't confirmed it, but they will, which I'm really excited for. I think consistently the best characters in each movie that have these are the young kids.
Like, it's also, Kang is a Young Avenger, because Iron Lad.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, because I know a lot of people were, during the end credit scene, which I assume we'll get to.
Yes.
There was some stuff, and people were like, ooh, does this tie into Iron Lad, maybe? Because there was, like, one Kang that kind of looked like an older version of Iron Lad.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah. Favorite character?
I feel like I gotta say MODOK, because he stole the show in every scene he was in. It was the funniest shit
I mean, he takes
I've
up
ever
half the
seen.
screen.
He does. That's so true. No, because I remember, because I think we're gonna talk about like the trailers later, right? But like people were saying like, oh, MODOK might be in this. I'm like, where the heck are you getting that? And then I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I guess MODOK's in it. So that kind of sucked. But then everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be Cross. I'm like, why the hell would they bring Cross back? Like that makes that he shows up. It's Cross. I'm like, oh, well, I kind of wish like I didn't know that. That would have been that would have been a nice surprise.
Yeah.
You know, but like I think we said it last night with the whole Mr. Electric face.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did
I
see
think it
a
worked.
tweet about that when I got.
Yeah, no, but it was still done well enough where I'm like, no, that's funny. I feel like even at how bad this could be conceived, it's funny. I like it.
I liked also that for fans who understood what MODOK stood for, they got rewarded. I felt like because I was saying this this summer, and the first time they say mechanical organism designed only for killing, because they were talking about it, and I was like.
I had the same thing.
It's MODOK, and then
I said it out loud.
She was like, "Who's MODOK?" And I was like, "Fuck, okay." But then like later they do the bit of MODOK because he's like, "Oh, machine is okay, I get it. That's what your name is," which was funny. But I think that it's funny, and I think that some people might not like the joke's not like, great, but I think it's also like. It's intentional to tell people why his name is MODOK. Yeah. Because if people don't get the acronym, because it's like it's a weird one.
Yeah, and
it's strange.
That's kind of what the point of the MCU is, or like their main mission statement is like introduce the guy in the big floating head. Like I was on call with my fiance last night, and I showed them a picture of MODOK, and they're like, "What? No, what the fuck is that?" But it really worked. No, that was exactly it. It's like, okay, why does he look like that? What the fuck is that thing? But he really worked in this, and I'm glad they did that to open it up to something bigger in the future. There is a rumor that Jim Carrey is going to be playing the real one, but that was before this movie was like even in development. That would, but also I think I heard that Jim Carrey is kind of like retiring from acting.
I heard him say a lot of stuff about that.
He has a lot of mental health issues.
Wait, I was actually going to say, what do you mean the real one? You guys keep saying
this. I've heard, it's not like, you probably know more than me about this, but my guess is that they did MODOK here, and then if they do like Secret Wars, or when they do Secret Wars, that's their chance to bring those characters back again in a new chance.
Gotcha.
I know very little about MODOK from the comics. That's going to be one of the future episodes, going over things that haven't really happened yet, but people might have questions about. Says here he's from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Wait, what?
Yeah, what?
Oh, wow. I'm from there.
I'm near there.
I'm nowhere close to there.
Actually, not me neither.
Yeah. Apparently he was part of AIM, which they kind of ruined. Like in the same vein as AIM, where it's like they kind of introduce it, but they just have it as a throwaway just to do their own like MCU spin on it. But eventually they will do the more faithful one that is much cooler and will make people a lot happier. Okay. Perfect example. Back to Iron Man 3, Mandarin.
Oh my god, yes.
So like he's Trevor Slattery is like, haha, joke's on you. He's actually just an actor, and Killian whatever his face, what's his fuck, is the main villain in that. And then eventually they brought back the real Mandarin, and that is how they did it. So I expect them to do that with AIM and MODOK and all these different things that, they like to do their own spin on it.
It was also nice because in the same movie where they brought back the real Mandarin, they also poke fun at the original one.
He was
good. I'm actually so glad they did that because I don't know about you guys, but I played the Lego Marvel games back on the 360, and I always hated how the Mandarin, because I watched Iron Man 3 by this point, and the Mandarin in that game was like an actual villain with magical superpowers. I'm like, what? That's not the Mandarin. Yeah. And then one of his alternate costumes is Mandarin film, and he's like some old guy with the big bush, and he can't do anything. He has no powers whatsoever. I'm like, that's so sick.
That really highlights the MCU-ness of comic characters. Yeah. All right, Mark, how about you?
I think it's kind of a tie between Kang. Obviously, he stole the show, I think, but I also really liked Hank in this movie. Mainly because I feel like in the first two movies, he was kind of just like a grumpy asshole. Yeah. And he just kind of sucked, But then in this movie, he was like a fun like grandpa.
Yeah.
I really liked the growth because like you said, he's always been like generally an asshole, and there's been like some nice moments between him and Scott, but it's still been like he's still always going to be that grumpy asshole, which I love. But I liked. It made me really happy because it made Antman really happy when he says the lines from the book. And he's like, I read every single word. Yeah, every damn word. Which also, that was also kind of funny because it's like him saying every damn word does also sound like maybe he didn't want, like, it was also kind of like torture for him a little bit. But like, it felt perfect.
Yes.
But also my brain is like, did he just go to the last page and read the last like 2 lines, and then he's just like, I'll say this later.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious. So you guys know about how they released the actual book in real life?
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's a
Yeah, you
full,
can buy
like-
it. You can buy the whole.
I will
thing.
buy
Yes.
this later.
Yes. So
I will use our $25 a month.
We're sponsored. Actually, you should buy it.
Yes, we are sponsored by Disney. That's why we're
Yeah.
giving
Put the
it such a
promo
good
code
review.
right here.
Yeah, I really liked, especially the fact that he had like basically nothing to do in this movie. Like for them being of the 4 main characters, he had by far the least to do, and still probably stood out the most. Like he really just like shot in a way that I feel like none of the other characters did.
He also like, because Ant-Man and Cassie were gone, and you had Hope. Hope's job was sort of like being the emotional attachment to. Oh my God, what's her name again? Janet.
Oh my.
Janet. Sorry. I watched the movie.
I can confirm he was there.
I was there. She was sort of the job of like, let's get to the bottom of like what's going on. But also Hank was there to sort of like be us in the shoes of like this place is fucking crazy. He's the sort of like most human, down to earth reactions to it when we're not with them. And also he gets to like explore the more like personal sides with Janet, because it's like, you know, like with the Bill Murray shit,
Yeah.
he's there and he's like he's
like-
reacting as a husband.
Yeah, he's like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
But also like we get him like he's sort of sitting there for us to relate, I feel like. And I think that like that's why no matter what we're always like attached to him, because he felt like he felt very connected.
The audience insert. Almost.
Yeah.
The identification.
You know, because he had the most like genuine reactions. Like he'd see someone be like, shit.
What's
And then-
Is that man made of
with
broccoli?
The turkey thing and the hand.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I really like that he just never got used to it. Like it got to the end and he's still like,
But he's still at the end of the day same old Hank, because
Absolutely.
he does the clever thing with the squid, where he like to kill the guys.
yeah, one of the best kills. in the
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
So let's go. Let's touch on that a little bit. One more character I wanted to touch on: Bill Murray. Kryler.
Bill Murray playing Bill Murray.
Yes. So I was watching that scene and thinking. I went into this movie. I heard someone say that like Bill Murray is in this movie to be put in the trailers. He's in one scene, he dies, and then they barely mention him again.
Mm-hmm.
That was my expectation going into the movie. And then it happened. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah.
That was Bill Murray.
I was also paying special attention to the special effects they did with him. It was always something that, like, he didn't have to do more than just show up for, like, a couple hours to be in front of a green screen and just do Bill Murray shit. Every time they do anything intricate with his character, it starts to, like, the squid goes to grab him, and he goes, whoa, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back, and then it's very clearly a CGI double of him just getting spun around. Bill Murray is notoriously so difficult to get a hold of. He has one phone line, no agent, and will just kind of like respond to it every couple months. Like you will call him and then get a response much later just because he's Bill Murray. How did they get him? Like that is so, he doesn't even want to do his own movies.
I have one word. Marvel.
Yeah. No, yes, that is correct.
Yeah, actually 2 words. Money, Marvel.
Yes, that is correct.
Which, I mean, I feel like me saying Marvel is me, like, the synonym of that is money.
Yeah.
'Cause that's why you do it.
Dude, Money Comics is my favorite publisher.
Because you're gonna make a ton of money. He's only one scene, he's making bank.
The Money Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, Money Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. All right. Just Bill Murray.
Just Bill Murray.
Just fucking Bill Murray, man.
Fucking Garfield.
Now I actually want to see. Why would you say that?
Am I wrong?
You're not. That's
exactly.
why.
That's why they hate me.
What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say no. I actually want to see if we can somehow get a hold of him. Just be like, hey, Mr. Murray, just
have you heard
checking
the stories of how like what he does to random people? Like he will like come up, sit down next to random people in restaurants in LA, and just say, "No one will ever believe you," and then walk away.
Yes, no, I have heard that.
He does shit like that all the time. He'll randomly pay for bills.
Really based.
Yeah,
that's
he'll,
so
like,
funny.
He does like you can look it up. There's like lists of shit people having experiences like that with him. It's so funny. It's amazing.
We get him to like do a guest shot in the next Marvel intro cinematic. It's like no one will believe you. It's like
yeah. It's
that'd be so funny.
That man is both one of my favorite and least favorite.
Bill Murray is the Bigfoot of
yeah, LA.
Of LA, yeah.
You know what they say about a guy with big feet?
All right, so trailers. We mentioned this earlier. Who wishes they didn't watch the trailers?
Bro, I don't even remember the trailers.
That's good.
Well, that's
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Not all of us have dementia.
Shut up.
Literally,
All of
I
us
think-
do have ADHD though.
I think I have OCD. Anyway, no. Point is, wrong acronym. I think we can all agree. We all thought Ant-Man was gonna die, right? Like, no? Okay, you did. Yeah, did you?
Because
did
they
you think?
showed, like we
Yeah.
were talking about it, they showed the thing of like, I don't have to win, I just need you to
both.
lose.
Yeah,
they
I
both
both
have to lose.
Yeah,
because it's like
feared it for sure.
yeah. And in that final scene, I'm sitting like, don't do it.
also it's third
You
movie. You know, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
No,
kill Paul Rudd. You wouldn't.
Yeah, you can't
In-
kill Paul Rudd.
In retrospect, it's not a bad idea to get your next big bad to kill one of the main characters. So yeah, I can see where you guys are coming from.
Yeah.
I just Marvel's too safe. Like they don't they don't do that.
I mean, the death of this movie was MODOK.
yeah, yes.
Like it was.
I loved the swelling symphonic suite they did when he died.
I
and we're just laughing in the theater while it's going
yeah,
on.
him dying and then just like he coughs it, like because it wasn't
You know,
blood,
that
it was
was-
pus. It was
Yeah.
pus.
That was so gross.
It was so nasty.
Yeah.
So nasty.
Yeah. I have really just hit a point. I shouldn't I shouldn't have watched that trailer because I've just stopped watching Marvel trailers. I will watch the first one and then
That's it.
stop.
Yeah.
And then I heard people talking about how spoilery it was. And I was like, well, I shouldn't watch that. And then I watched it.
It's been a problem for years.
It
'Cause
has.
it's like the only time I was pleased to be like spoiled or like happy when that happened was when Infinity War trailer dropped and Infinity War happened because they showed Hulk in that trailer and Hulk is not in Infinity War and that was like, oh, fuck all of you, audience.
Did they get sued for that?
Yes. Okay. So
They got
I was
sued
going to
for
say
that?
that
Yeah.
Marvel didn't get sued, but I think it was Universal or something
Something like
did get sued by just two random guys for inserting an actor in a movie. I think it was Amy Adams in some movie that she wasn't in. And now they can't do that. Like Marvel's never going to do that again, which kind of sucks.
That's a bummer because it was so cool to be like, because everyone was like, oh, okay, we're finally in Wakanda. It's gonna happen any second now because it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And then he's fighting one of the like big guy with the thing.
Obsidian Call.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that.
I kept thinking of the Maw, but he died. Squidward.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But like he's fighting in the Hopeless armor, and you're just waiting for that moment of like, oh, he's gonna burst out, and he doesn't, and then you're like,
And
oh,
he's trying.
they just pranked us. He's trying.
Yeah, he's trying. He can't do it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was the kind of thing where like you're watching Marvel trailers now, and it's like, oh, okay, now I know MODOK's in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I know that like Doctor Strange is gonna be a corpse at some point.
Yeah. They just, I just need to stop.
That's definitely a trailer problem in general. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't really like watching trailers because I'm like, guys, there's a lot of scenes that you're putting in here that you really don't need to. Like, I think that like teasers are perfect because they're like 30 seconds long, and then you're just gonna have to watch the movie to figure it out. But then when it goes over like at least a minute and a half, like, and they started adding so much, I'm like, I've seen almost the entire movie, and it's been like not even 2 minutes.
Yes, I know. Two things about trailers. First, God, it pisses me off that they've started putting the 5-second just like trailer of a trailer before YouTube in YouTube videos. Like, just fucking, why do I need to watch this? Just give me the most engaging parts and then and then I don't have to watch it. Like I try to skip them as much as possible. The other thing is, I think that's kind of just indicative of Marvel's philosophy toward movies. They don't need to be great. They just need to be good. They don't care if you really like if you get spoiled, if you don't have the best time, as long as you still are like, it doesn't piss you off enough to still keep coming, that they're willing to take that risk of really cool thing. Fucking MODOK's in this. Bill Murray's gonna be in it. Get butts and seats.
I think the biggest one was also after Infinity War, and then they just dropped Spider-Man No Way Home or Far From Home trailer, and people were like, "What?
Yeah,
he just died."
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, exactly. They're spoiling the audience, making sure you not having as good a time as you could is a risk they're more than willing to take because it gets them more money. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is just like a preference. because not all people are like that. Some people are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know who MODOK even is.
Yeah.
Then you got the Marvel Club where it's like, please.
I had a friend in high school who literally, I saw Endgame. I saw it twice opening night, and a lot of people weren't able to get tickets to that. So I talked to a bunch of people the next day at school, and someone asked me, so what happens? I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't care. Just tell me what happens.
It's like, no.
Are you going to see the movie? Yeah, definitely. No! I'm not going to tell you that!
I hate that shit so much.
God.
That shit freaks me out. Like, when No Way Home came out, I put so many filters on every social media that I use. I did not touch a single social media app for like 2 weeks because I was like, I want to go into this with zero information.
I have to shut down my Discord if I'm late to watching a Nintendo Direct.
You know,
it's bad.
I'm gonna be gone when Spider-Verse 2 comes out. I'm
No.
gonna be on a cruise, and I won't be able to see it. And for context, also, Spider-Verse is my favorite movie ever. I've seen it actually like 80 times, and I will be on a cruise ship. And I checked, and there's like no way I can watch it. So for 2 days, I will completely silence every single social media.
I mean, you gotta.
Because I can't take that risk.
No,
I just can't.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's very sad.
All right, last thing, end credits.
Fuck. Yeah. Immortus, Rama Tut.
Are those the names of the different Kangs?
The Pharaoh is Rama Tut.
I think
Immortus is the one, like the main one.
The one who's like whispery. He's like,
yeah, like
I hope he's not in it.
A lot of people I've heard
the Chainsmoker.
Yeah, him.
I've heard the one that was like very like robot. Like I know they're all Kangs, but the one that was robotic-y and like very futuristic-y. So some people are thinking that it's like the Kang that might fight the Young Avengers because they think that that's the Kang that grows up from being Iron Lad. That's like, because he kind of like looks like that. He might be like a futuristic, older version of that.
Yeah.
But I really like that we just got that kind of like big coliseum of Kangs and how wild they were.
Because there was like a whole fraternity.
Yeah.
It was a whole fraternity of Kangs. Like,
that's actually that's ripped.
they were
like that panel is ripped straight from the comics too. Like it's really cool to just see how like they match that like wild, crazy nonsense of too many Kangs in one room.
Yeah. I'm looking at top 10 variants of Kang. And number 6, apparently Skrull Kang, which is going to be really cool because Secret Invasion is next, so they're definitely going to introduce that after.
And we also saw another one in the end credit scene.
Victor Timely.
Yeah, Victor Timely. Yeah. Who's just like a fucking guy.
So how the heck does like Mobius remember any of this? Like
I'm questioning that too.
I think that has to be a clip from like mid-season.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it has. Yeah, because it's gonna. I am curious to see how long they deal with that, because that is really both a huge fucking plot twist that was really fulfilling, but also really kind of unsatisfying. Because like one of my favorite parts of Loki was watching everyone in the TVA slowly like realize, oh no, this is bullshit. And Owen Wilson was like the main part of that. So to see go back to the beginning, that is a good like dramatic thing to do.
Owen Wilson when he finds out that nothing matters.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was really funny to me that they had to confirm that he wouldn't be saying that.
That is funny that they did have to confirm that.
Yeah, and everyone was still watching just to see if they were lying about it.
I wonder if they wrote like
he got close. I think a few times.
Yeah,
like he like would say like wow, and it's like fuck.
I wonder if they like cast Owen Wilson and then went in and changed all the wows to like woes or what the heck. I don't know if he says that at all in any of them, but you know, Victor Timely.
Yeah, it's so strange though, like because we just don't know like why is it all old timey. I've heard some ideas of like though maybe we're seeing the first recruits of his sort of like thing of the TVA, like that's early TVA, and that's why it's a bunch of like. Because we know they're just people. He just got like because what's her name Renslayer was just like a teacher.
Yeah.
So what if he got a bunch of like people from fucking like 1920s ish?
Yeah. No, but Loki's there, and he was like, "That's him."
No, but maybe like they like Loki sort of like infiltrating or like trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on, and they're like they're not supposed to be there. Morbius. Morbius is in this movie.
Spoiler.
It's fucking connected.
It's Mormon time.
He's talking.
It's
to
Mobin
Mobius.
time. No, yeah, that's a good question. It's like it's just a theory.
Okay.
Kill yourself. It's a film theory. Film.
Does he
Maybe
say that
they're,
at the
like,
end of it?
tracking-
Because there's film
Yeah, he
theory,
says
game
film theory at the
Yeah.
end of the movie.
You know how they're
And
like
cut.
during the Loki show they're tracking other Lokis, right? And they all the variants have signatures, right? Basically, what if that's that kind of thing because He Who Remains no longer exists in the Loki show, right? But other kings obviously do, and he was like, "Oh yeah, they're coming," and shit's about to hit the fan way
Whoops.
hard.
Yep.
And so it could be like when the reset happened, trying to like figure out who the others are and like how to not have the entire universe go to shit. Worse.
Yeah.
It's like a weird. Because I keep wanting to say like I wish we got a timeline of how it works, but that's so redundant because it's like I think we can assume that like because of Loki and Sylvie's decision, once King dies, then it all corrupts and goes to shit, and then that allows for like the weird like time loopy fucky wucky nonsense,
Yeah, that's what
timey-wimey bullshit of like the Kang going into the quantum realm, and then you have like the Council of Kangs existing because like from He Who Remains being a thing, we got the sense that like, oh, he's the only one right now, but now that he's dead, now the floodgates open, and then we get all the Kangs.
Right. Yeah.
Like again, almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Final thoughts?
It was
So
fun.
MODOK's penis.
All right. Has
And
your
his
scores
ass.
have your scores changed at all from last night? Start with Kai.
I don't think so. I think it's still about an 8. If anything, I think this movie made me care more about Ant-Man, right? Because like I wouldn't say I ever like necessarily hated Scott as like a character or anything or how he fits into it, but it was like they were just movies, right? And then like with this one, especially seeing his relationship with Cassie, right? It's like, oh yeah, Scott is the like butt of the joke like almost always, and he doesn't really take anything seriously, but he takes Cassie very seriously, right? And that's when you see like, oh yeah, no, Scott is actually, I guess, like worthy of being like an Avenger and all that stuff like that. He has a purpose.
Still not a better Avenger than MODOK though.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I know. MODOK died in Avenger.
Yeah, he did.
And so I think that this has also made me more excited for what is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh?
I don't know. I just want to address that, you know, I feel like only we've talked about positives. Like, I feel like we've all, like, we talked a little bit about negatives, but I feel like we all, like, I feel like a lot of people have generally come out with, like, more positives than negatives, and I think that's an important thing to recognize. And I feel like a lot of the negatives were towards, like, marketing. Which still counts.
And the pronoun game.
Yeah, and
Fuck
the pronoun game.
That was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
annoying.
But like, I said 7 yesterday, and I think I would either say 7.5 or just a strong 7 specifically, because I think like the more I'm thinking about the movie, like here and today, the more I'm raising like, no, I liked it. Like I didn't dislike it as much as I do other movies.
Yeah,
when I dislike them.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I was going into this thinking maybe I will bring it down to a 6, but I think I am bringing it up to a 7 now. Yeah, you're right. I think I did the opposite of what I did with Black Widow, where I came out of it thinking, yeah, that was good, and then realized that there wasn't a single thing I like about this. I came out of this thinking, there were good parts, but overall it's just dull. And I think that is the biggest thing. Like, it's hard to pinpoint when just the overall tone is just a little dull, which I still think that is kind of a problem with this. But you're right. We've only talked about positives for the most part. So yeah, 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine's still the same. I forget what I said. 7.5.
I think you were like 7.5, 7.75 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
No, I
Really
didn't.
dumb.
You definitely did a decimal.
You went into decimals, and I was like,
No, I said
wait.
7. I said 7.5. I did not do 0.75. I
No, that's what I'm saying is you did decimal of like 7 point something.
Then it must have been
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'd say. Yeah, you know, please help me.
Math
yeah.
major.
Yeah,
Get a
no,
load of
it
this
was.
guy.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie, and you know, I was thinking about it. There's I noticed it during the movie, and I forgot to say yesterday and today. There was a lot of stuff I felt like they pulled from Star Wars 9 specifically. They just did it way better.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, like
I think you mentioned something about Star Wars.
No, I mentioned character designs.
Oh, okay.
Like I really liked the side characters, like Quaz, yeah, guys like him. No, but then there's also the thing where like, hey, we gotta call everybody. And Star Wars are like, oh man, they're not coming. This is so sad. And here they're like, yeah, okay. It just felt more
Deserved?
Yeah, felt more deserved.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there was just some other stuff in there where I'm like, kind of feels Star Wars.
That's
way better. But it's way better.
The speech kind of gave me like Ready Player One vibes.
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't seen that movie, but I know what you're talking about. I read the book.
It's a good. I actually enjoyed it. I thought
I know.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd probably say for me it's still an 8. You know, Ant-Man was probably like one of the first movies I watched like in the theater, like a Marvel movie. So I've always loved the Ant-Man movies, and this felt as big and as like sci-fi as it was. Like at its core, it was an Ant-Man movie. You know, it was just him doing goofy stuff. You know, just getting in situations he just doesn't want to be in. You know, he just wants to be a dad.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
What more
you
can you
know?
ask?
He's just a little guy.
Like,
He's
he
just a
wants to
little
be
guy.
dad,
He's
like-
just a little guy.
You gotta look out for him.
Ant-Man 3, just a little guy.
Yeah.
That's the title. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this with me.
All right.
I look forward to seeing this. Talking one more time in a week. See if this changes at all. Gonna be a smaller, shorter form thing. But yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
One pair of pants later.
All right, we're back. It has now been a full week plus a couple days, maybe 3 days. You know.
Has it only been a week and a couple of days?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mid-semester stretch, baby.
Yeah,
All right,
that
so
sucks.
Time is a weird soup.
we're so true, bestie. So we're back just for that last bit of like immediately after, good perspective. A day after, lots of thoughts probably hit you. A week later, I think that's one of the most important parts of like knowing whether you liked a movie or not. So, what's everyone's impression been since last time we talked?
I hate this bit now. Personally, this is the thing. I think like my original rating is now more true. Because I think I went from like this was good to this was actually a little better to this was good. Because I think I went 7.5 to 7, and now back to 7. I'm gonna say. I think 7. It's a solid 7.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Mark?
No, I would say pretty much the same. I just it was a good movie. I like that.
Yeah. Good movie. I was laughing. We had MODOK, the greatest Avenger. You know. Still a solid like 7.5.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd have to agree. I don't think my reading has really changed much, but like I mentioned in the last episode,
Still episode 1.
That this movie has given me new perspective on past projects, and some of them I'm like, maybe I judged you too harshly. Maybe I did.
It's the Thanos thing. Perhaps I judged you too harshly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd say for me, I would say like last time in the day after thing, we spent a lot of time talking about all the positives and said, wow, it's crazy. We didn't really have too many negatives. And I think the negatives kind of went deeper than just, yeah, this is what I disliked about it. I think I said this, it's just kind of dull in bits.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to describe, but it manifests itself in basically my feelings, which have been, I don't think I've thought about this movie once since we talked about it.
Except memes.
Yeah.
Except memes. There's been a lot of memes.
And I watched a
Honestly,
review.
I don't. At least the memes I see, I haven't seen any.
Really?
I don't see.
There's been a
memes.
few in the Discord, I know.
I don't check the.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Caught in 4K. Yeah.
As editors. My favorite. I mean.
So actually can't relate because I never enjoy anything casually. So
Okay.
I've been thinking about this movie a lot.
Wow.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like how I said before, I think I judged previous projects a little bit too harshly. Actually, spurred on by an argument about characters. It was in the Discord, but we're not gonna talk about it. like Multiverse of Madness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that movie it's a lot. It is definitely a lot, and it's like kind of sensory overload-ish, right? But then thinking about particularly Kang as a character, and then kind of thinking about how exactly Wanda is gonna fit into this, because like she's a fucking Scarlet Witch, bro. Like,
Yeah.
did she die? Don't think so. And like I feel like Wanda's gonna be the character. Is like, bro, Kang's gonna shit his pants.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and I was like, maybe I should give Multiverse of Madness a second chance. I should. Not that I particularly necessarily hated it, but I was like, all this is coming at me really fast, and I kind of just didn't think about it after that because I was like, I don't even know what to think about.
That's an interesting comparison because I feel like they're almost complete opposites. Where Multiverse of Madness was really like its strengths were the style that it put into the world that it created that it had over other Marvel movies. Whereas this, I think it's the one thing that everyone kind of agrees with is that there's not too much they did with the Quantumania. Like they're just kind of there and there are some weird characters and stuff, but it's not like it's just kind of purple background sometimes.
It doesn't feel its own
Which is
style.
really-
Exactly.
Which is
like-
related to what I want to touch.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I don't want to hog the conversation.
No, I'd love to hear it.
Okay,
We got
so a video that I saw like 2-3 days ago, he was talking about the fact that like this movie, like I agree, there's kind of like not really anything happening, right? But at the same time, a lot of shit is happening, and he was talking about how Loki fits into all of this because it's like before this movie, the only person who knew Kang existed was Loki. So like if like Kang hasn't met any of the Avengers in this specific universe and all that stuff. So like if Loki just like randomly popped up and was like, bro, we have a big fucking problem, they'd be like, who the fuck are you talking about? But now this movie was like, okay, it's not just Loki because technically Loki can't tell anybody.
Especially because he's in the wrong timeline now.
Exactly. Right? So it's like, let's open the door just a little bit and let y'all figure out that you're actually fucked. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I see the point in that.
Yeah, because now.
So in this way, like Loki is the expert.
Yes, Loki and Ant-Man are kind of the Gamora Nebula of this this like multiverse saga where they were kind of like they knew Thanos because they were her daughters.
They had that like experience.
Yes, exactly. Like I remember the trailer to Infinity War coming out and being and Gamora having that dialogue about like he's coming and he's gonna be terrible on this that and it was like oh yeah I guess she would be the one to
know.
Yeah. And now Loki, which I'm really happy to see because I did not expect Loki of all people to be like this kind of like of all the Avengers level threats, kind of the lowest one, just kind of had a space theme that with a small army that they were able to take care of quickly, is now like the harbinger of everything that is going to destroy everything very soon. Like I'm so happy to see that.
He's the timeline repairman.
He really is.
He's fucking not getting paid.
Yeah.
Call 555 Loki.
Do you guys think he would have taken Kang's deal at the end of Loki if it weren't for Sylvie?
I think he wouldn't have taken it without Sylvie though.
Yeah.
I think that was his because he was like, let's talk about this because he wanted to do it with her. He wanted to be like because that was the growth of him was that it was like a partnership. I think we're talking about Loki now. But like
It's very important.
Yeah, that was like I at least because it's the whole thing was like I can't believe you because he's a Loki, which makes sense. But at the same time, I think we as a viewer could tell that he was being honest about that.
Yes.
And that was the big thing is that like because he saw it as they both have a say and they both can make it a difference together. But like obviously she didn't agree.
I think that like Loki probably wouldn't have taken, in like my understanding of Loki as a character, probably wouldn't have taken the deal, especially. I mean, one, it is also that stage of Loki, which I think almost makes it more important because like post Ragnarok Loki is like miles in terms of growth. But having Loki get snatched out of the timeline in that specific moment, being at like the height of their like antagonism and still being like, you know what, that's really fucked up, right? is really important to his character because it's like, I think that show did a really good job of being like, you know what, Loki is a villain, but like, not really. He really just needs to be in therapy.
Yeah. And I'd say that's true with like a lot of Marvel.
To a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. What? It's like majority.
Crazy, therapy helps, dude. Anyway,
Crazy.
Unless anyone else had anything else to say about that, I wanted to do a quick little run through of this one article I found that I thought is kind of indicative of a greater problem with MCU culture, which is this article is called 20 Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania Easter eggs you might have missed, plus those end credit scenes. So Jake and Mark.
Yeah.
Did you happen to catch that line where the guy says, "Thank you, Spider-Man"? Quote, "Despite his fame, Scott isn't above being mistaken for someone else. The coffee shop owner mistakes him for Spider-Man, which is an inversion of what Peter Parker gets mistaken for other aliases. See, Night Monkey." Did you guys miss that?
No, I'm pretty sure I saw that actually.
Yeah, it's almost like it was a joke.
That was in the trailer.
That came up.
That was in the trailer. That was in the trailer.
Twice.
Here's another one.
It did, because later in the movie, he talks about it, references it from the first 3 minutes of the movie.
It is
and
one
then,
of the few things that the movie expects you to remember.
Yes. Because there's a callback.
Yes.
There's an explicit callback to it.
How about this? Jake, did you happen to catch Krylar, Bill Murray's character?
Crazy.
Bill Murray was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Fun fact though,
Friend with benefit.
Krylar was a character in the comics for exactly one issue in a Hulk comic where he tries to use a machine to create an anti-Hulk, which I do kind of find interesting.
That actually is pretty neat.
How about this? Did you guys see MODOK?
Oh my god.
The greatest Avenger?
That was
yeah.
the goo guy, right?
No, but he's in here.
That was the naked guy.
That was, that was the guy who read minds.
No, the one with the laser beam and, you know.
Oh, like the... That was MODOK.
Yeah.
That was
Where was it MODOK?
Oh.
Wait. Was it
Seems
MODOK?
like someone was paying attention to the jokes.
Yeah, I was too busy thinking about, is that Spider-Man? Who's that?
They called him Spider-Man, so I don't know why it's called Ant-Man. Like, what is this movie?
Yeah, no, what's going on?
Yeah.
I just saw you scroll past one and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, go ahead. This is a lot of just, are you fucking kidding me?
Did you guys know that the wasp can fly, and that's actually based on real bees?
No
What?
way.
Do
Also,
they-
did you just
Guys,
say
we're
the
gonna
Wasp?
rapid fire.
I
three
did. Never
absolutely-
address my failures again.
Okay. My bad.
Hey, Mark, cut that.
We're gonna rapid fire 3 absolutely fucking insane things. He Who Remains.
Yeah.
Sacred Timeline.
Uh-huh.
Multiple Kangs. Or just Kang in general, and Loki.
Did you guys know that was in this movie?
I think I watched the wrong movie.
Oh, wait. I might have been watching.
It doesn't ring a bell. Oh my god, wait,
Oh.
were we in the Beauty and the Beast show?
I think we might have been.
What?
Cause sometimes I look in her eyes.
That explains the
Louis C.
talking.
College 12,
No, 'cause I was like,
obviously.
these talking teacups weren't in the first or
Jake,
second
you were
movie.
right.
Wait, what?
The Rise of Skywalker. They also drew that comparison.
Yeah, see?
Is that a win if they're comparing it?
True.
Ah.
No, I just feel like, I don't know. This pisses me off in general about like these clickbait articles that are so willing to just put out anything that it's like,
Yeah.
here's this joke in the movie that said Spider-Man. And
Is that Paul Rudd looks at Baskin Robbins?
That is in here. Baskin Robbins.
Yeah,
is one of
yeah.
them. So is the book. Like it's this Jimmy Woo. The only thing, literally the only thing
Jimmy
in
Woo
here
was in it for like 5
that I
seconds.
didn't. Yes, exactly.
The only thing I actually would say is Jimmy Woo, because I was like, if you could have missed that.
You could
maybe.
have, but still, he's very like.
Yeah,
he's a very like. Oh shit, he's there, and it's not like you blink and you miss it. The only one that wasn't like. That had some form of subtlety. It mentions the portable home from the second one that apparently is in this. Like the establishing shot of them in the house before they go into Quantumania.
Yeah.
It's the house that they had that was like on
the
wheels
yeah,
from the
yeah.
second one.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. That's 1 for 20. I'm so proud of that.
That's 5%.
I say give it a half.
0.5 out of 20.
That's 2.5%.
I was waiting for you to do that.
Yeah.
And one last thing before we cut this. I I wanted to just go over some of the Rotten Tomato scores,
Right.
see if there's any. Specifically, what I want out of this is to see if you guys can actually find anything that you agree with in it.
Okay.
Because it's very, like, we spent the whole last time talking about things that worked, and I want to find a way to, like, kind of voice the things that didn't work so well while still, you know, we all said it was at least above a 6 or 7.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I think...
I had a great time.
Exactly. Quantumania, this is the overall one. Lacks the spark of fun that elevated early adventures, but Jonathan Majors Kang is a thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU.
I think that's what we have been saying.
Yes,
Yeah, but what did they give it?
48%.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
that's not
people, I think people review just generally over time, especially with Marvel projects, just so much harsher. Because like I that's the thing is we've had a week and we've had enough time to like get those reviews even more from audiences, and it's like sure you could. Because sometimes it just feels like people just want to give it that low score, or not even that, but sometimes people just don't want to watch the movie, but they do anyways, and they're like, damn, this was bad. And it's like, okay, well, because you don't like this kind of movie.
And that definitely gets down to both the way that critique and reviews work, and also kind of just the way the MCU is going. How do you do a review that both, if you really love it or you hate Marvel movies, how do you give a number to something that is so fucking subjective? Like,
it's almost like these are opinions.
Yeah, I know, but seriously, like, are you supposed to give that thing, like, say, to people, as long as you're self-aware? I think that is the one way you can do this ethically as a journalist, is to explain, like, hey, I go explain where you're going into it with, and then say, for people like me, this is what you're going to get out of it. But as an overall thing that a general public would like, here's a more objective take. And seeing these, like, okay, I know you would disagree with this, but I agree with a lot of them on at least Eternals. I did not like that movie. But I think...
Wait,
I didn't.
You like that movie?
Yes, I do.
How many times did you see Eternals?
I've seen it at least 4 times.
Wow. Okay, that's a bit obsessive. You know, I've seen it once. I saw it once on a plane.
I saw it once.
It was okay.
I paid for it.
I'm sorry.
I
paid for it by watching it.
Yeah, so like, I
thought the cast. I think like half the cast was good, half the cast wasn't. That's just my take.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like, I thought it was serviceable. I also just needed something to keep me entertained for those couple of hours.
Oh, on a plane?
I would rather watch a movie about Druid, Bakari, and Hephaestus.
Yeah.
And maybe watch Sprite go in there and then get her head wet.
Sprite?
I fucking hate Sprite.
Yeah.
Sprite?
No, that's why Drew's so sick, because he hits it over the head with a rock.
That's the worst. Every time I watch a movie, I'm like, God, I want to take her out.
The two things after that movie came out, the two things that I told the people were, one, there's a character whose whole arc is that they're a lolly, and then also there's a sex scene where they just kind of have sex on the ground.
Yeah.
That was so weird. I literally forgot it was in there when I started watching it. And I was like, oh, shit.
Unforgettable. Sorry, that whole movie was just, it went over me.
I remember when Seamus recorded that scene. I just posted in the Discord. I think it's still in there somewhere, actually.
Probably.
I guess we can just end this on BBC calling it the worst Marvel film yet.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I also, leaving the theater, heard someone say that was amazing, top 3 Marvel movies.
I would agree with that.
Exactly. That's the thing.
That's
anyone.
When Avengers and Infinity War and I'm trying to think about the good third one here.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Any of the Guardians movies?
I've seen Civil War too many times. That's my father's fault. Yeah, no, but no, yeah, like
there
Ragnarok.
There are great movies, and then there are ones like Hulk and Dark World, and like
all the ones listed on the Family Feud game we did.
Exactly. Like this is just a mid-Marvel movie, and I think the reason why it's starting to get 48% is because Marvel can't keep putting these out. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great though, and I think that's kind of a warning sign for Marvel going forward. Yeah. So that being said, the next few are all really exciting. Guardians 3 is next.
That's gonna be good.
Secret Wars I think is going to be interesting.
Is that the one that's Wait, is that the Disney Plus
Yes.
series? Okay.
Nick Fury is the main character.
Secret Invasion.
Finally.
Invasion.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I got confused.
That's Secret Invasion. Secret Wars is
The big
Yeah.
Endgame. The next
Is-
Endgame.
Yeah, well, the next Infinity War, and then
is Kang Dynasty is the next Infinity War.
Secret Wars is Endgame.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Marvels has a lot of really interesting stuff going for it. Captain America, the New World Order. That's the third next. I feel like that felt so far away.
Oh, hang on, Feige's calling me.
You know what? When adventure calls,
We know too much.
One of the things that I think is like really, it's starting to become more obvious as Marvel has to continue these movies. Well, it doesn't have to, but continues these movies. Is that one? People are just really fucking boring, right? And so,
Sorry.
and so the reviews are always like consistently bad. Two, I think it's more so not necessarily a specific Marvel problem, even though they do have like some play into it and making some concessions that they probably shouldn't in the movies, but more so the fact like people don't take fucking superhero movies seriously at all. It's like, it's not real cinema. How about you shut the fuck up, Jarek?
Yeah. I feel bad for whoever Jack is.
Fuck you, Jack. Well, that's the name tag on his Baskin Robbins.
Oh my god.
True. Thank you, Jack.
Accidental reference.
Actually, sorry. This is just a cool thing today. You remember the guy who was dressed up as There was a guy dressed up as Baskin Robbins Ant-Man.
Really?
Yeah, he had like the whole outfit. It said Jack and everything. Yeah.
That's really
It was
funny.
I love that.
For context, we this weekend is a Comic-Con in our area.
We spend a lot of money.
My favorite cosplay.
People don't take superhero films seriously at all and say that it's not real cinema, even though there's so much work that has to be put into them. And three, when it comes to reviews, the people who feel about it really, really strongly in any direction are always going to be at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
So-
that's just the nature of the internet.
Yeah. So.
I had to turn down Feige's offer. I couldn't do it.
What a strong-willed man.
And then
You didn't want She-Hulk to crush you with her thighs?
And I think it's also.
Wait, give me your fucking phone. I'm calling him and taking that offer.
Sorry,
Fuck you.
I thought we got the same offer.
No.
Oh, yours was just like Ant-Man 4? Cool. Sorry.
And also, I don't know if there's really a solution for it, but like the fact that they're technically going into a completely new era, but it still has to follow the other ones and not like pretend it's a completely separate fucking timeline is like not exactly easy to do. Because like, okay, I have to introduce all of these people, right? And they're basically like the new Avengers, right? But the last, what, like 15 years can't just like not exist, right? And because of that and people's attachment to characters, I think that is also adding to the harshness of these new phases. Because I'm like, bro, Iron Man is dead. Get over it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I think Robert Downey Jr. was both the best and worst thing to ever happen to the MCU because he was the flagship character. He brought this as a like D-list character from the comics to literally the highest grossing franchise of all time. Disney is now the household name because basically of him. But he was already pretty old. He was in his 40s, 50s when he joined.
Yeah.
And then had to dip out because you can't sustain that after 10 years, let alone 20, 30. That's why DC, people are really shitting on James Gunn right now for the whole Henry Cavill thing. But imagine if it's fine if you go into it and make a D-list character really huge, but if you start with Superman and then he has to leave after 10 years, what would that do to the Justice League?
Yeah.
So that's kind of they had to say goodbye to the kind of their foundations, which is a huge problem. Which is I think the reason why a lot. Now it would suck if they just kept doing the exact same thing over and over again, but you can't have most of the main six people like that. That is kind of a lot of the problems indicative of where Marvel is going right now, and I think they're gonna have to change a lot of stuff to fix that edge fast. They got until X-Men basically. After X-Men and they do everything with that, they're fucked. There's nowhere else they can go unless they start making original content, which I don't expect them to. And I think that's a good place to end it, unless anyone else had anything that they wanted to get in one last time.
Note for Mark. just let people know. No, future Mark.
Oh,
Just let people
sorry.
know
Shut up.
I was.
We're talking to Mark.
Let people know I was not on my phone for funnies. It was because
I did get a call from Kevin Feige.
What?
Huh? And that's the
That's
show.
our show. All right, guys. I hope this was a good first episode. I already know about a bunch of technical issues, and I'm sure we'll run into even more. But nowhere to go but up.
It wouldn't be Students of S.H.I.E.L.D. without something going
Exactly.
on.
But yeah.
Dr. Mark can't fix.
I think we have a lot of really, really exciting things planned for the future. I hope this was not terrible enough to make you never want to come back. And to anyone watching from Marvel Club, let me know if you want to be a part of this. We need
Y'all
more
will sing
guests.
again very soon.
Yes. All right.
Not y'all.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I know. I mean, I'll watch.
Yeah, we're not saying goodbye when that cuts off. We are not. Our continuity does not exist around the podcast. We are not characters.
It doesn't?
I am.
Wait, you're not a character? Then what's this ring for?
All right.
Sorry.
See y'all.
Hey, wait a minute, what the hell?